AITAH for wanting to dump my fiancée after she injured herself while I was away. While I, 30M, was away on business, my fiancée, 32F, decided to go out without telling me. We spoke in the afternoon. I was on my way to the airport ahead of an 8-hour flight which was arriving at 5 a.m. Her friend had just come back from out of state and she was planning on taking her out to dinner. Once I landed, I didn't want to wake her as she normally gets up around 7. I got home and she wasn't there. Her car was parked outside but she wasn't in bed. For a moment I panicked and thought she had gone to surprise me at the airport and I somehow missed her. But her car was outside. I call her and her phone rang to voicemail. I call 10 more times while I shower and change. At first I wasn't too worried, thinking maybe she went for a run, but the scenarios running through my head were getting darker. We have our phones on our iCloud account in case we lose them, so I bring it up to find her location. Her iPhone was at the hospital. My heart sank. I start heading to the hospital. All her family live out of state, so there's no one to call. The hospital is 10 minutes away. I speed, run red lights, park right in front of the emergency department door, and go in like a maniac, demanding the triage staff tell me where my wife is. They take me to her room. She's asleep in bed, but I can immediately see she's hurt. Her lip is swollen and she looks like she's been beaten up. Bruises on her face, splint thing on her nose. My panic and worry morph into rage, and I demand to know what happened and who did this to her. I was informed that she arrived in an ambulance at 2 a.m. having drunkenly stumbled and face-planted onto the curb while leaving a bar. She had a broken nose, chipped tooth, and other minor abrasions and scratches, but she was going to be fine. This made absolutely no sense. I seriously feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. I don't drink, never have, and she hasn't touched alcohol since college basically. I don't even know what's happening at this point. She's tried to offer up some kind of explanation about how her friend pressured her to have wine while they were at dinner, and then they somehow ended up in a bar. She apparently has no recollection and teleported there. I've been giving her the silent treatment and it's 8 p.m. She has been crying and wanting some sort of consolement or reassurance, but I genuinely think I'm done. This whole thing just came out of left field and I'm not handling it well at all. We've been living together since we got engaged, and it would be a pretty clean split. Her parents own the house, so I can basically just take my stuff and go, I guess. I really don't know what to do. We've been together a year and a half and I feel like we could get past this, but it's like this whole ordeal and the emotional roller coaster have sapped away the love I felt for her. Anyways, sorry for the novel. But WIBTA if I dump her, someone commented. This is kinda a big overreaction to someone going out to drink and getting hurt. Seems like you're just looking for an out to the relationship, and this is the most convenient way. Op replied, she's definitely not cheating or sneaking around like some people seem to think. We also have great insurance, so the medical bills are no issue. It's definitely the first time anything like this has happened. She is super responsible and mature, which one of the things that has made us so compatible. She's always so dignified and composed, which is one of the things I love most about her. Seeing her like this and learning about how it happened just kind of shattered the image I had of her in my mind. She is super embarrassed about it, which doesn't really help. Another said, she very well could have been drugged if she doesn't remember everything that happened. She's in pain and probably scared as well. She needs love and care, but instead you have your panties in a bunch and are angry with her. Mainly from what I gather, you're angry because she went out and didn't tell you. You're her BF, not her parent. She thought she was probably just having a drink with a friend. Just because you never drink and she hasn't had one in a long time doesn't mean she was irresponsible. It doesn't mean her getting hurt is her fault. Things happen. You're mad she did something you don't like to do and didn't tell you about it. Hell, she probably needed a damn drink while you were away because her BF is an insufferable jerk, which is probably why she didn't tell you she went out in the first place. You didn't lose love for her. You never had true love for her in the first place. If you did love her, none of this would even be a question for you in the first place. So, do her a favor and leave her because she deserves better. She deserves someone who truly loves her and will take care of her when she needs it the most instead of turning their back on her like you. YTA times infinite. Oop. I get it. I'm Ta. Enough people mentioned that she was roofied, so we went and got a drug panel done that came back clean. She just had too much to drink. Just to clarify, since a lot of you said I'm controlling or whatever, I'm really not. She's free to go out with or without telling me. It's just she normally always tells me her plans exactly, which is why this was so abnormal. Also, I never said I had a problem with her drinking. She's a grown woman and she can do whatever she wants. It's just that she never drinks, which is why this was so shocking. She has a concussion, which we are blaming for the trouble remembering. I don't think she was blackout drunk and neither does she. I'm not trying to defend my initial reaction, but I have a very stressful job, which has taken its toll on my mental health for sure. And I make an effort to eliminate any sort of non-work-related stress as a matter of necessity. Coming back to my wife in the hospital seriously injured was absolutely devastating, and I know that I didn't react well. My first thoughts were that she was attacked by someone, which infuriated me and made me want to go find whoever that was. Once I realized there was nobody to blame for this except her, some of those negative emotions were directed towards her. I'm not saying it's right, but I can't control how I feel. Let me also be clear about one thing. I wasn't ignoring her, I just really didn't know what to say to her, and I wanted to let her rest. I was processing the situation, and I knew if I didn't control what I said I might say something that blamed her or was hurtful or something along those lines. Which is why I decided to hold my tongue until I sorted out my feelings. Yes, I know I'm the a-hole. Mini update. She broke off the engagement. We had a long talk and apparently I've been cold and unsupportive. I disagree, but whatever. And she feels betrayed by my attitude. She thinks my expectations are unrealistic and that she's a human, not a robot. She said she needs someone who can let her fail, and I am not that person. Update: 3 days later, we broke up after being engaged for 6 months. One night when we were at her parents' place, her father gave it to me as a gift. It was shortly after we got engaged and it wasn't my birthday or anything like that. There was no occasion, he just gave it to me and said, "I want you to have this." He took it off his wrist. I'm unlikely to ever see him again as he lives in California and I live in New York. He hasn't asked for it back, nor has my ex. I doubt she has any clue what it's worth, but I've had it appraised and it's worth over $70,000. WIBTA if I keep the watch and don't say anything?